Here we are with the rematch of the Samsung S95D to the left, the TCL QM851G, or QM8 to the right. I don't know how to say this, but it has made a drastic improvement. So basically, you put a lot of time into calibration, you can yield some pretty astonishing results. Now, the Samsung S95D is still the winner, but like, I'll pause right here, for example. In examples like this, the TCL does such a great job of producing this beautiful, lifelike color with tremendous expression. Again, the Samsung S95D's highlights, though, are what's really going to pull it ahead. Yes, the TCL is brighter, but as we talked about in the prior comparison, it doesn't intelligently map. However, you can get contrast, I'm not joking, ridiculously close to what we have on the S95D, which the last comparison did not represent. And I feel like that pushes these a lot closer, and the argument for one over the other then kind of changes. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. A lot of content to cover, so try to stay through until the end, and I'm just going to hit the ground running. So for starters, I'm on the Samsung 4K Demo QLED Pure Color on TV Hi-Fi Pro's YouTube channel, okay? If you want to replicate this and see what I'm looking at. Essentially, yes, this looks absolutely incredible. Again, I want to show you guys, yes, you can pump up brightness. I don't recommend doing that because if you pump up brightness, you lose contrast, unfortunately, on the TCL. And that's not really what we want to have happen. Now, you can, again, make it brighter. I think we all know that. I have it right now set to 46. We can be overzealous and go up to, I would say, 84 or 83. I like 83 a lot. And the color saturation, yes, is on 69 because this is it's just such a wash TV, but I also did a custom color calibration, so you can't just plug in my values as you see just there because there are other things that will be shown later for the members, so if you want those settings, make sure you join and snag them. Now, that being said, I don't think anybody is prepared to understand also how drastic of a difference the TV is out of the box, okay? I've done exceptional work on this thing, and that there's no other way to say exceptional, okay, than exceptional, because look at what it would have looked like, guys. Like, that is so not good compared to that. I mean, look at all the depth returned back to the mountain, and then we just killed it all. Even the menu there, it gets all hazy versus, again, even the depth on the menu bar. Like, when I say I've done tremendous work, like, no one's TCL outside of those who are members on this channel is going to look like this. And I stand by that. I really do. Because, I mean, just looking at it, I am blown away by how much of a transformation there is. Like, if I pause here, like, the color, cyan now, a lot richer. The expression, a lot better. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing on the TCL. Truly, like, it's a crystal. It's like looking through a TV versus at it, and that's important because this is not an OLED, okay? By the way, good luck finding mini LED TVs, QLED TVs, mini LED TVs, or quantum dot mini LEDs, whatever they want to say, okay, that look half as good as this, okay? This is really kind of hitting a lot of strong points here, but again, out of the box, this is what it's going to look like. Your water's not going to look like you just took a vacation in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and you're looking at it. It's going to look like a haze fest, and sports mode is more of the same. And again, as you guys know, if you go down to game mode or any of the so-called accurate modes, it's going to look more of the same. Washed out and hazy is what they think the look is. Now, again, this is a testament to my ability and my skills as a professional calibrator. However, I want to show you, just like in this example, pause the turtle, okay? Look at the depth coming off of this. Like, look at this, the depth, the isolation. This is a top-of-the-line flagship model Samsung QD-OLED. You're not going to find anything higher in Samsung's lineup from OLED than that, like that, or even picture quality wise than that. It gets no higher than a quantum dot OLED, and that's Samsung's best Pantone validated colors, yada 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 yada. Now, it is the winner overall. Again, you see the better highlight detail on the turtle, a lot more three-dimensionality, yes, but this is coming damn close. You've got to admit that's coming damn close. I mean, you see a lot of the same details and some stuff coming through a lot better in some ways. It's to the point where now there's a conversation to be had here about what TCL is bringing to the table. I mean, look at this pasture right here. I mean, just look at how ridiculous. Yes, okay, looking at the Samsung, it's totally 3D. It's like I'm looking over the horizon through the vista just day and night. I would 1,000,001 times pick this picture. Yes, okay. But can we give respect to the fact that this is an LED TV and it has pretty much the same isolation in a lot of areas. Again, not quite as bright in things like the clouds and stuff like that. The nuanced details aren't going to be able to, you know, keep up quite as good, but it's almost there. I mean, it really is, to the point where you look at it and you're like, wow, this is ultra scenic. And I think that's the part. This looks near identical right here. I mean, same thing goes for the lizard here. Now let's fire up the Spears and Munsell UHD benchmarking disc and show you more of the same now that this YouTube demo has ended. Alright, so as we fire up the Spears and Munsell UHD benchmarking disc, you're going to notice a few things. One is that the TCL got noticeably more three-dimensional. Again, the Samsung takes the cake. Yes, for those who were complaining about the magenta hue on the Samsung, I did create a preset to get rid of that. Again, it does tend to push more towards the red push side of things, but the magenta thing can be removed, again, with ACE calibration. So no need to worry about that. I will be putting those settings out for my members. And again, more of the same thing. You guys see that it just has more dynamic range, if you will, but the colors aren't as far apart as they were. We will go ahead and pause right here. Now I'm going to grab my remote, and then we're going to open up our settings on the TCL and just kind of show you where it came from, because I'm not going to lie, I'm really fucking proud of this, because like, dude, like seriously, like person to person, like, dude, like, you know how hard it was to fucking get it to look like this from this and even this, and I got it to look like this. I even beat myself. I was working on a movie mode setup, and yeah, sure, that's all right. That looks nice and everything, but that's me right there. Watch me beat even myself. I mean, come on. There is no comparison. You have more depth, more lifelike expression. Again, that's sitting with the TV longer. The longer I have to sit with these TVs, the more I can draw out of these TVs. And now this is the part where you guys come in. If you guys want me to be able to sit with these TVs longer, man, shoot me a freaking super chat, donate to the channel in some way, shape, and or form, because I guarantee you that's how I'm able to sit on these units a lot longer with support from our community. I'm not one of those affiliate marketers or anything like that, as you guys know, crowd and self-funded. So that's how I'm able to make ACE calibration settings like this. But if I have a limited amount of time, I'm only going to get to do maybe one or even maybe two settings for my members. So that's just food for thought there for everybody, you know, who wanted to know. Now, in terms of picture quality, I mean, looking at it out of the box, I mean, this is some bullshit. I mean, let's call it what it is. Let's be adults about it. This is some bullshit. Okay, versus this. I mean, all day, every day, the transformation, to say it's tremendous, is no small feat. And it's not to toot my own horn or to gas this up. It's to say the TCL is truly a capable TV. However, you need time. And I'll say it again, you need a lot of time to be able to sit with this TV to take a lot of the washed, hazy effect out. And not everybody has that kind of time. And then on top of that, not everybody knows how to do that. When I tell you, like, even I'm struggling with this, okay? Like, I'm the best calibrator in the world today. Anybody's welcome to challenge that, right? I mean, you bring your calibration settings, I'll bring mine on the same image quality or on the same media source, like the Spears and Munsell. I will beat you every day of the week, I promise. I guarantee you, while you're sleeping, I'm doing this. I guarantee it. Because this is what I do, okay? And when you look at how close I've gotten these two, it is like mind-boggling that the TCL had that much in it still. And I knew the bones were there, okay? But to see the TCL render things like trees, again, against the foreground to the background and isolate colors in a very similar manner to what we would have over here is truly magnificent, because that's not the kind of thing that you usually get for $9.99 on sale, right? Which is the current price of the TCL, right? You usually have to pay $2,000+ to get an image like what the TCL is spitting out. Hence, it's right next to a $25.99 Samsung S95D flagship model. It doesn't get any more transparent than that. Like, the ability of the TCL. Now, again, I'm not here to say that the TCL wins, because look at the sky. That is just way better. I mean, obviously, there are things, right, that the Samsung does better. Look at the natural warm tones and the hue and the clarity of over the water. Like, you are getting things that you just don't have on TCL. If we look at this example between the Samsung S95D to the left and the TCL to the right, I'm just going to say this right now. It's going to be very difficult for you to see a cheaper TV, right? If I told you, like, let's just strictly look at both of these images and point out the most expensive TV. Good fucking luck. I mean, good fucking luck. That's how good they both look. It's to the point where I would have to wish you luck to try to find the cheaper TV between the two, because I would look at them and say they are probably about the same exact price point. With how three-dimensional, I mean, this is where TCL's processing is keeping up almost like perfectly with Samsung on stuff like foliage, landscapes, where the geometry is clear, right? It knows it needs to isolate this structure from the tree line, from the grass. It knows, right? And it's doing a good job of rendering that. At the same time, the sky, not overly done, looking very nice, things of that nature. And again, it's when you look at this, you can see what I'm talking about, the structure of the rocks here. I mean, honestly, if we just pause right here, TCL at this point pulls now ahead of the Samsung in terms of clarity, depth, color performance. This is where it's at. The TCL is doing a wonderful job with these rocks, isolation of the foreground to the background. Everything is just isolated perfectly. You see that clearly and really defined. So again, this is where we're now pulling out more of the TCL's processing to try to get a little bit better in the way of color. Now, the Samsung doesn't look bad. It's a very clear image. It is, but TCL is shitting on it by comparison. And again, that's because it's the brighter TV. Now, if you really nitpick and look hard as you can, you do see the better colors on the Samsung when you look at all the little grass and foliage and things like that. In comparison, it is a bit more dead on the TCL. You have to really look for that in this particular example, though. And that's a testament to, again, the processing power of the TCL. Relevancy. Why do we care? We care because that means that we don't have to fork out $25.99 to get an experience that can pull ahead of a $25.99 TV. We're in a dark room right now. Look at these black levels. The TCL is right next to an OLED. I think we can say that it is OLED level. At this point, there are people that will try to say that it's not. There are people that will try to sidestep how powerful the local dimming performance is. It is OLED level. There isn't a drop of bloom, and you see it in real time. Here's your proof next to an OLED. These aren't camera tricks or anything like that, because you can see my tapestry in the background. You can see my hand, everything. It's just OLED black. Look, you can even see my finger. When people are playing ISO tricks, they crush out everything. They make it so you can't see a thing. I'm telling you right now, this is what it is. It's got OLED level experience as far as nighttime viewing, and that for me is wonderful. I mean, look at the flower. It's so three-dimensional right now, just like the OLED. Yes, the OLED pulls ahead. Yes, the OLED is our winner. I mean, look at these highlights right now. Tough fuck and die for. The TCL just is not rendering images like that. And the same can be said about this example too. It's just a little bit more pale by example. So again, you are seeing where TCL falls behind and ultimately why the Samsung S95D was and is the winner of this comparison. However, the TCL is coming far closer than I ever even thought it could. And that, again, is just more time to sit with it. Now, some might then ask the question, if you had more time to sit with it, do you think it could go further? No, I think we've pretty much tapped into its full potential as far as now. And that's just, again, I'll tell you guys what I did for those who are like, again, inquisitive minds like myself. I used the local contrast feature. So that's basically their local dimming feature. And you can get really amazing stellar contrast if you set local contrast from, let's say, high to low. If you set it to low, though, you'll start introducing a lot of black crush and a lot of things will start looking a little off. So it's really like you have to pick between, like, do I want better highlights, shadow detail? And it becomes like a balancing act. But local contrast, for any of you calibrators out there, that's the key for the TCL. If you want to get a really three-dimensional picture, local contrast is your key. You see, because I'm not a gatekeeper, I'll tell you how to do certain things. Now, as far as my settings go, well, you have to join to be able to see how I do it and get the real deal, but I'll tell you how to get started at the least if you didn't want to join. At the end of the day, I am blown away by the performance of the TCL now after doing this. I mean, look at the depth coming off of this tree right now. This, for me, is one of my go-to reference images for contrast, and it's on the Spears & Munsell UHD benchmarking disc. Now, I'm using the one from 2023, so I will have some test images that maybe the older one won't have, but if you buy it now or further on in the future, you should be around this one or whatever new one they do. Either way, you get what I'm saying. When you look at the image, I mean, the Samsung is like rendering contrast beautifully. We already knew that it could. The TCL is every bit as three-dimensional and more. Look at the highlights that the Samsung just can't keep up with. It's just getting bodied in the highlight department. And that's because the TCL is brighter, no shit, right? 3,000 plus nit TV. We all knew it. We all see it. But this is where we're starting to, like, by toning down the brightness, the global brightness, or the entire full screen brightness, we're able to fine-tune contrast. And by fine-tuning that contrast, we're able to make things like the tree pop a lot more from the background, again, and being the distinct subject that it is. And these are just some of the little things that we could do with the TCL because of the extra headroom with the brightness. But again, as you're seeing, this image looks phenomenal on it. And again, you're going to go to the next image. after this one, and this one looks every bit as stellar. Now, the Samsung looks a lot more stellar. I love the color reproduction. Everything looks beautiful there. Again, you might not be able to see it on YouTube, but the shade of blue, richer, more three-dimensional lines there. So the geometry on Samsung is better. Samsung's also rocking their brand new 4K processor this year, AI processing, and it looks phenomenal, right? Color, I mean, get out of Dodge. That's amazing. That's a little bit more pale by comparison. We're going to keep saying that, right? But when you really look at it at face value, though, we take the obvious out of the statement, right? Like, the Samsung is better than the TCL. Okay, no shit, right? It's a QD-OLED. It's $25.99, Pantone validated colors, yada, 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 yada. But then we look at TCL, doesn't have Pantone validated colors, isn't a QD-OLED, and then we pause on images like this and we go, wait a minute, say that again, say that out loud. Is not a QD-OLED, is not Pantone validated, is not some, you know, super expensive flagship model. This is a budget flagship, okay, targeted for pretty much everyday people. And everyday people can experience something that you would literally, you're looking literally to your left. All you've got to do is shift your focus to the left. And when you shift your focus to the left, you can see clearly. It's clear as day. You'd have to pay $25.99 to see a picture like this, or wait for it to go on sale to where it wouldn't be below $2,000. And if it was, maybe $17.99, but then after taxes, you're right back close to $2,000 anyway. Versus this, that's literally $9.99 right now on Amazon, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, everywhere, $1,000. That's it. You know, this one's $1,000 more on average. And is it really worth that? I mean, yeah, for people who have discerning eyes, and yeah, sure. But I mean, let's also introduce another factor to this, which makes this comparison so hard, okay? Like, the TCL to the right is $1,000, and I have a 65-inch right here, okay? A 65-inch with 3,000 nits and like 5,000 zones of mini LED, quantum dots, and everything. And then this one is a 55-inch, and it costs way more than what the 65-inch costs. So you're paying more, and I mean, now it's like you don't have the screen to cost ratio. You're paying a lot of money, and you're not really getting a whole lot of screen for that money. All you're getting really is the picture quality, which again is phenomenal, but you're not really getting, you know what I mean? Like, the size, and the size is nice. And I'll be very honest with you, the TCL feels a lot larger than it actually is. I don't know how they pull that off. It really just feels way more immersive, is what I would say. Now, I have the Samsung S90D 65. For whatever reason, didn't feel as immersive as this 65. This just feels big. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know if it's the bezels they put on it. I don't know. It feels bigger screen to screen, even though it's probably not. I don't know how they did that. But again, it's one of those nice things about this TV that I think a lot of people will appreciate. Now, when you look at that aspect of it, okay, so we have the price to value ratio, you know, again, screen size, all that good stuff. And then again, a lot of the same technology. Again, is the image to the left better? Yes. But objectively, we can say, okay, the image to the left is better, but then to the right, we're getting majority of the performance, and we are not paying the same price point. And then when we aren't paying the same price point, that's where we're like, okay, I'm not paying the same price point. I'm getting most of the picture quality. Then it's kind of like, does it really matter that this is the winner? I would say no, because look at it next to an OLED in a dark room, it's literally OLED black. I don't have any of the bloom associated with OLED at all on any level. And or QD OLEDs or QD LEDs, right? Mini LEDs, all that good stuff. It doesn't look like an LED at all. And I think when that's the narrative that you can hear over and over again from a lot of people and see on camera, I mean, look at it. And again, no ISO tricks. You can see how bright my hand is, but look how black that remains, even though my hand's right here, fully visible. That tells you that this is OLED black. And again, color, again, not going to be as good, but again, does it really matter? I'm venturing towards no. So yeah, the winner of this comparison is the Samsung S95D for the better overall picture quality. I don't think anybody would argue that. But then the TCL is keeping up in a way where it never ever would have crossed anyone's mind to be this close. Like, I don't think anybody knew it would ever be quite this close. We'll pause right here just so you can see, again, next to an OLED, dark room, this is what you're dealing with. It's uniform, it's inky, jet black. I mean, really, if you told me to find the OLED, it'd be pretty hard. I won't lie, it'd be pretty hard. I'd have to really look and discern, and then I could see, okay, then it goes from like the black level, since that's uniform. I'm like, okay, both look very uniform. Then I would look at the pixel level illumination, and then I would start being able to pick that stuff out, which is, again, is not something everybody knows how to do. And then when you have demos like this that ramp up and brightness, like this is going to ramp up and go in real time, good luck picking out the OLED when it's doing that in real time, because then now the algorithm's thinking in real time. And that adds another level of complexity to it that just doesn't exist without, you know, the demonstration, or with the demonstration. You get what I'm trying to say. So let's move to a different example like gaming, because I know a lot of you guys wanted to see that. So yeah, I'm starting up Tiny Tina's Wonderland again, because again, I can't stress that this game is just like that shit. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the audio off by muting, because I do not feel like getting hit with any annoying copyrights, because that's just not for me. But you guys, again, are able to see the black level performance. Yes, the brightness is a little bit higher on the Samsung S95D to the left, because the QD mini LED with TCL this year does what the Samsung Q8FN, for those who were around in 2018 and can remember this, it performs a lot like that. So basically, anytime there's a really bright highlight on the screen, it tries to dim it down to preserve and reduce blooming, which in my opinion is the correct way to go every day of the week. If you go for over brightening on a black background, you're going to see all kinds of nasty stuff that you don't want to see anyway. But again, as you can see, even on this screen, look at the color reproduction of just this, the cyan reproduction, the depth, Wonderlands, very clear on the TCL, very clear on both really, but you get the idea. I mean, they both look like, again, TVs in the same price point. And that's, again, a part of the argument that a lot of people have to make. It's like, okay, if they look about the same and I'm paying more for one, does it make sense to do that? And again, every day of the week, I'm going to probably arrive at yes for discerning eyes, no for pretty much everybody who just wants a high quality set but doesn't want to spin an arm and a leg. So we're going to start just kind of running around this world here. I don't really know what I'm going to encounter, or if I'll encounter anything, but I did so far, so this is where we're at, right? And we're just gonna go, and we're gonna show you what it's like when you game in real time on both. Okay, I mean, yeah, the Samsung looks amazing, but I mean, I love this spell, by the way. You literally can just rain down all the lightning you want on somebody. I mean, like, it's total overkill, especially because it recharges very fast for anybody that plays this game. But anyway, I mean, you can see like every little bit of clarity, detail, looting some chests. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the colors look very similar. Like, when I look at one and I look at the other at a glance, it's only when I get to shadowy things like this, like in a corner where it's really dark, where I can see, yeah, the OLED's got way more contrast. It looks very clear. That's more pale by comparison. That's where we're starting to see, like, yeah, okay, maybe I don't have the pixel level illumination, but again, if you've saved $1,000+ would you really care about some shit like that? Probably the fuck not, right? Like, you'd probably be like, man, yeah, I don't really care that I don't have all the blackness of an OLED because I'm not paying the OLED pricing. And I think that's most people, right? And now we're going to try to go and find something else. Got all this cash over here, might as well pick it up. And again, you're seeing it, right? You're seeing majority of the picture. I mean, yeah, look at the water. Yeah, the water on the Samsung looks amazing. The TCL coming pretty damn close, though. You see what I mean? Like, it's pretty damn close. It's not like a swing and a miss, right? Now, to be fair, in the sake of total transparency, yeah, if I had the TCL just out of the box, it would look like dog shit, okay? I understand that. Like, because, I mean, hello, who the hell wants that? What even is that? Look, I mean, like, who wants that over that? I mean, yeah, that's a big difference. And the same can be said about your sports mode, and the same can be said about your game mode. I don't know who wants to even remotely game like that. That is disgusting. Like, if I were to game like this, and I would just be like, all right, guys, this is where we're at. This is the TCL to the right. I would just tell you, pack it up. Don't even bother wasting your money on this shit, because look at how jaundiced these rocks are. You wouldn't even know that they have warmth to them. That's how ugly it is. That's what they keep doing. They make TVs look like they're 30 years old. If you don't like that kind of thing, I cannot stress the importance of joining my membership, taking me up on the service that I offer, because for literally $4.99, you get an image that just transcends anything that these TVs are capable of from the manufacturers. And bam, there you go. Look at it. You can see it in real time how much better it just got. Now you're on the level of a quantum dot OLED. And I think that says everything. And again, you can go through and play whatever game that you want. Yes, OLED's going to have that contrast and that depth. Again, in moments like this, right? We're running through a cave type scenario. This thing is shooting me, you know, and then you see a lot of contrast as you like see like the silhouette of the caves and everything. I actually want a better gun. I don't really want a launcher. Let's just use this, because why not, right? Energy blast is not Man, I'm just gonna hit everybody with lightning because they're jumping me, and I don't like it. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I got my little demi leech. But you get what I'm saying, guys. Like, the performance is just good on both. It really is. And I know this is a game that I've showcased before. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into a different game as well, just so you can get an idea of like what gameplay would look like. I'll try to pick a game that some people care about. Probably going to fail miserably in doing that, but I'll do what I can. So here we are in Stellar Blade, a cinematic showpiece on Unreal Engine 4 that if you haven't seen, yeah, you're going to want to see it. Now, to the left, again, we have the Samsung S95D. To the right, we have the TCL QM8. And again, it just looks damn fantastic. Look at the visuals, and I promise you, you'll be like, holy shit, these TVs are incredible. And that's kind of why I'm putting it on, because not everything is as vibrant as Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Some things are going to look a little bit different. But this is where you can see the biggest difference between a QD-OLED and the TCL. Now, the TCL has a ton of contrast that's pretty much on par with what you'd have from a QD-OLED. You're not really sacrificing a whole lot from an image quality perspective. However, you are sacrificing in terms of that just pure color quality. I mean, all I can tell you is it just looks incredible on the QD-OLED. Not to say that the Samsung or the TCL to the right doesn't look incredible, but again, it just lacks in the way of all the color that you have on, again, QD-OLED. And that's why I always tell you about QD-OLED, because it's a looker. Now let's go ahead and run over here, try to progress the story a little bit. They want me to guard, but I don't have any real enemies. Is there like one here? All right, cool. So to progress, we're going to have to block. Or not. Where is an enemy? Something? I guess we're just going to keep going then. But, I mean, when I look over at the Samsung S95D, it literally looks like it's like a beautiful scene from a movie. Like, it's gorgeous. The TCL is a little bit more pale in its representation. Now, in my personal opinion, this shouldn't be happening because they are both quantum dots. Even though one is an OLED, I don't think that should make a difference. I feel like, again, TCL is probably using low-grade quantum dots, which is why it's not quite as vibrant. I really do feel that that is the case. However, it is still doing a damn good job even with those low-grade quantum dots. And also, they don't adopt what is known as an HSL, or hue saturation luminance way of adjusting things. And because that's the case, you end up in a situation where you don't necessarily have all the color pop that you would have on something like a QD-OLED. So again, yeah, one's $1,000 more expensive, but now you're starting to see where we're picking up that price difference too. Because again, for gaming, I'm sorry, but the TCL is not going to be as delicious as what we would have on something like the Samsung S95D. And again, you're probably seeing it here more and more. I mean, look at this example. The face on the Samsung is just like so 3D. Everything is so 3D. The contrast, the black levels, all of it, just mind-blowing. TCL's not bad. It's just, the processing is clearly just not as good. I mean, that's the simple, short and sweet of it. It's a processing thing. You know, they don't have technologies like the real depth enhancer like Samsung has, and it shows, it does. But again, to TCL's credit though, the colors are good. They're not great. They are good. And I think when you're not, I don't know, when you're not too picky, you can enjoy the TCL a lot more. It does go down a bit though from like when you watch movies or anime or something like that to like when you're gaming. Far less enjoyable than something like what Samsung's going to be. I feel like, honestly, for anybody who's a gamer right now, if you really love gaming, you're going to buy a Samsung QD-OLED. Case closed. Nothing even comes close. I mean, a lot of people will try to sell you on LG. LG has those ugly WOLED colors. I mean, that's its own problem. And then aside from that, then you have, you know, Sony. Sony's taking a step backwards away from their QD-OLED with their A95L. I mean, it just gets worse the more you look at it, and honestly speaking, it's just not worth it. I would literally, at this point, from experience and literally doing it, practicing what I preach, I would only buy a Samsung QD-OLED for gaming. Like, nothing else, in my personal opinion and professional opinion, actually come close, especially with the game mode that Samsung has. Samsung's game mode is just next level. Most people don't want to hear that again, but it's the absolute truth. Samsung just, I don't know, they feed their TV something special for gaming. And that's not going to change. So if you are a gamer, then yeah, you're gonna have to save up, I guess, another grand or so if you want the absolute pinnacle of gaming for gaming. But otherwise, the TCL is good enough, right, for gaming. And that's what I would say specifically. Yes, it has some of the same features and everything, but again, the difference can be felt in processing. Like in this scene, you're not going to see this on camera, but the TCL is very grainy as the smoke comes in all through here. Very grainy, where I don't have any grain whatsoever on the Samsung. It's literally like a freaking crystal. Like I'm just looking straight through that image, the purest image you could ever see, the richest colors, the most pop. I mean, you wouldn't even know that this was the matte finish version of the fucking Samsung. Like that's how phenomenal it is. And honestly, every time I do these comparisons, I just end up getting more surprised and more shocked, really. I'm like, damn, like Samsung really is doing some special shit here. Now again, TCL has gorgeous greens, beautiful oranges, skin tones look okay. It's just, again, to beat a dead horse here, it's just a whole other level on the Samsung. It's to the point where, look at the fucking fire in the back. I cannot look at the TCL. My eyes won't gravitate in any way, shape, and or form to the TCL. It's just not happening for TCL. So I think, again, yes, TCL is brighter, right, in terms of that, but it's not usable brightness. We've already discussed that. You can make it brighter, but you're never going to get the same peak highlights. I've also tested that. The peak highlights are just never going to be the same as it is on the Quantum.OLED. So things like the jets, the fire, I mean, all those nuanced details are going to show through better. Like that thing coming out, like every little pixel of fire is just there on the Samsung. And this is why I always say, yeah, no, buy yourself a QD-OLED, save up, or use, again, things like Affirm or Afterpay or your Best Buy credit card or any credit card, well, Amazon credit card, doesn't matter. Use a credit card of some sort because you're never going to be as satisfied as having a Quantum.OLED. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. And there are people that say that it's just cartoony, but those are the people that don't have a Quantum.OLED. And, you know, either stop trying after one crapped out on them because they got a dud unit or something of that effect. But these aren't people that are earnestly just like, okay, I'm going to go all out on the Quantum.OLED thing and see where it goes. And I'm telling you, if you do that, especially if you've run into this channel and you have my settings, there is no doubt that there can be no better experience. I mean, look at this. I am watching this and I'm looking at it like it's the first time I've ever seen this. Like, that's how spectacular this is. Like, this is so freaking cool. Like, they're doing acrobatics and all this cool shit, and it just looks good. I mean, again, to not be so one-sided towards the Samsung, even though it's like literally like fucking photorealistic. The TCL though, I feel like brings us more down to planet Earth, humbles us a bit more, and makes us kind of feel that we're human, and that, you know, it's more of a TV. TCL is like watching a TV. Samsung is like being there in the action. This scene is a perfect example of that. And again, this is what I mean when I say like near black, out of fire scenes, you know, from black to bright. These kinds of things look really, really good on something like a QD-OLED. Look at the fire. I mean, like that's my example. The fire. I mean, that's honest to goodness, when you're a gamer, one of the biggest things that you're going to see differently. The embers, the bokeh effect of the embers behind the girl, like all these little fire things flying around. The ember is just incredible. The fire scenes, they really have a gravity and a weight to them that just doesn't exist anywhere else. Like the contrast, I'm not gonna lie, the more I do these comparisons, the more shocked I get at the contrast on the Samsung, because I didn't know that it was this good. Because again, you guys saw the pixel test that I did. You guys saw that it, again, has that matte finish screen that takes away from the contrast. And even with it taking away from the contrast, it has contrast in spades over other TVs where it shouldn't. Especially glossy screens that don't have a coat that affects it. Samsung really literally got up there and said, I'm going to do a matte finish screen that takes contrast away comparatively to my TVs, and I'll still be better than every last one of you. And you know what? They'd be right. Because so far we've tested the LG G4, we've tested the Hisense, we've tested the TCL, and it's just a slaughter. Like, truly, when it comes to scenes like this, I mean, I don't know what YouTube's going to show you, but I'm looking at it with my own eyes, and I'm like, this is less impressive. Much, much less impressive. But that's what it is, man. So hopefully this video does you justice, and you now know the difference between the QD-OLED and the QD Mini LED line. of televisions, because I most certainly, going into this, didn't know what to expect, but it is one hell of a treat to know the differences as they stand. Again, not to say that the TCL is bad. Like in scenes like this now, they look near identical until that jet came on the screen, and then the highlights coming off of the jet because pixel level illumination, hello. And again, if you don't know what pixel level illumination is, it's this magical thing, okay, where anytime there's a highlight, typically, I say typically because older OLEDs are not like that at all. Anytime there's a highlight, it literally tone maps straight on that highlight because it's doing it at a pixel level, where this is more LED based, and that's the limitation. It has to think as far as the full picture, the global, or again, generality of the entire scene. And again, quantum.OLEDs don't have to do that. They can say, you know what, I'm going to give you this crystal clear three-dimensionality because I know how to map around each individual pixel utilizing the entire pixel count of your resolution, where that is not happening on mini LED. And that is why I literally champion getting a Gen 3 like Samsung S90D or Samsung S95D, because the Gen 3 has improved text clarity and they have improved efficiency, which leads to better brightness and longevity, because they found a way to get brighter without increasing the heat, all while maintaining the same burn-in features that they had on things that were more heat generating, if you will. So that is what's enabling this to be such a treat here. But again, TCL is doing a brilliant job with their 5,000 zones and their 3,000 nits. However, if I were to push it quite that high, it wouldn't really look as immersive as we have here. I mean, I think you guys kind of know I'm known pretty much at this point for pushing these TVs to their maximum and giving their best experience. And if it were possible to do that at full screen brightness or at the total brightness that it offers, we would already be doing that. But that being said, this is a wildly long comparison, but you deserve it. So smack a like on this video, subscribe, and hey, if you like what I did here today, maybe donate, help us do more projects like this. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.